right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A hard freeze tonight following yesterday's record February heat, then our quick march back to warmer weather.
Solving downtown's parking problem. Tonight, a plan to protect your car is now one step closer to reality. First tonight, church condemned. New developments surrounding a South City sanctuary at the center of an alleged kidnapping and torture investigation.
I could have never comprehended some allegation like this happening.
Tonight, we are hearing from the former owner of that church. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. 3 men remain jailed after a woman claimed they held her captive at the Mount of Olives ministry. 5 on your side's Robert Townsend has been following this saga all week. He joins us now with new developments. Robert?
Mike and Kelly, we are now learning the city officially condemned the South City Church on Monday, saying it is being used for illegal purposes. Neighbors say on any given day, people are constantly at Mount of Olives ministry, but not Wednesday because a city building inspector posted a condemned letter on the church's front door.
I tried to reach out to the city today to a couple different people, but they never returned my call.
Arlie Singleton is the pastor of Friendship Assembly of God just a few miles away. About 3 years ago, he sold this church building to its current owners.
We're financing it for them.
Pastor Singleton says Wednesday morning, he and Mount of Olives leaders were to meet at the church when they learned it had been condemned. The congregation consists of more than 75 people who are originally from Central Africa and do not speak English.
Because what we need to first do is hear from the city and find out what's happening with this. Is there an appeal they can make or not? Do they need a lawyer or not?
The condemnation letter said an inspection found the church was not being up to code and that the building is used or intended to be used for purposes which are illegal and may endanger the health and safety of persons. It comes 4 days after a woman told police Saturday morning 3 men kidnapped, beat, and tied her up with ropes in a room at the church.
I could have never comprehended some allegation like this happening.
This Mount of Olives member calls suspect Grace Capendo a respected leader of their church.
I don't think he can be arrested because many times when we are with him, I don't see any bad thing about him.
I just want the truth and I want justice.
Now, about 90 minutes ago, a city spokesman got back to me and only said, quote, the church building was condemned for occupancy. Connor Kerrigan says he will have much more to tell us in the morning.
Robert, thanks. Tonight, 2 women are facing sex trafficking charges in St. Louis County. They're accused of recruiting and taking a 16-year-old to participate in sex acts at River City Casino. Investigators believe there could be more victims. St. Louis County Police say a 16-year-old victim had been recruited by Angel Henderson from Florissant and Mac Mitchell from Memphis. Mitchell is still not in custody. The 2 women are accused of harboring, transporting, and recruiting the victim to participate in sex acts with various men at River City. The casino spokesperson confirms with 5 on your side that a worker noticed something and alerted authorities. A former Lindenwood University hockey coach is admitted to sexually abusing 2 minors and recording the acts. James Lambert pleaded guilty in federal court today. The investigation found he assaulted a youth hockey player inside a family bathroom at the Centene Community Ice Center in Maryland Heights. Lambert was sentenced in June and faces 50 years in prison.
A former St. Louis Public Schools principal pled guilty in federal court today for the murder for hire of his pregnant girlfriend, who was also a teacher at his school. Cornelius Green was married to another woman at the time of the crime. Jocelyn Peters was 7 months pregnant when she was shot to death in her Central West End apartment in March of 2016. If Green is sentenced to life in prison for his federal crimes, his state case, which carries the death penalty, could be dismissed.
Car break-ins have plagued downtown residents and visitors who park on surface lots.
Now, a possible solution is in the works. Brent Solomon is live with details on a plan to curb the vandalism and mischief. Brent?
Well, Kelly, Mike, in just 2 days, that plan will head to the Board of Aldermen here at City Hall. One detail of that plan involves cameras. They have to be at every surface parking lot, and those cameras have to point at every car in the lot.
Seems like a no-brainer to me.
When you've had enough, you've had enough. safe.
I park and I've had my car broken into twice in 5 years.
Each time in downtown St. Louis.
In both cases, there were no cameras to tell anyone what had happened. I would have loved to have cameras in there.
I've walked by and seen busted in windows and things like that, mostly on the streets or actually in parking lots.
Alderman Rasheen Aldrich tells me it's time for the city to take action. He's drafted a plan to make surface parking lot owners do more to keep lots safe by day and night. In order to keep their license to operate, they'd have to install cameras, step up lighting, and put up some type of fencing to keep the parking lot enclosed.
From hardscaping to fencing to shrubs to bollards. People are jumping on the lots, they're doing donuts in the lots, they're jumping curves one to another.
City leaders have debated similar plans for years. Aldrich says he's collaborating with surface lot owners and drivers to come up with a reasonable plan that can be fairly easily put in place.
It kind of deters crime anyway, so any way that you can be proactive about that, it's going to naturally stop it.
A lot of these surface parking lot owners are making a lot of money, but they're not putting in measures in place to make sure that their customers are protected.
Next week, the board will debate the plan. The following week, a vote is expected. If this passes, it will all go into effect a year later. Live in downtown St. Louis tonight, Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
Tonight, a Chicago judge ordered the State Board of Elections to remove former President Donald Trump from the Illinois primary ballot. It's less than 3 weeks away on March 19th. However, the judge put an immediate hold on that order to give the former president a chance to appeal. Last month, the board denied a motion to remove Trump from the ballot, claiming he's ineligible due to his role during the January 6th Capitol riots. Illinois Congressman Mike Bost is blasting the decision. The Republican says, quote, "A Chicago judge has put her will above the will of Illinois' Republican voters. This is blatant election interference, and it must not stand," end quote. Bost recently received Trump's endorsement in his bid for a 6th term in Congress. The U.S. Supreme Court is expected to make a decision soon on Colorado's efforts to remove Trump from the ballot.
The Supreme Court has decided to hear former President Trump's immunity claim in the election interference case. In a brief order, the Supreme Court said it would hear arguments and issue their ruling as the case goes on hold in the meantime, meaning no trial can take place. In an interview with 5 on Your Side's Mark Maxwell, former U.S. Senator John Danforth, a Republican, warned about the precedent of giving Trump immunity.
This is an issue it's much more important than any person or any political party. It has to do with the rule of law. The prosecutor and the indictment contends that he has violated criminal statutes, and now he claims, well, that's okay. I'm free to violate criminal statutes. I want to stay in power. That is clearly wrong.
SCOTUS is set to hear the case on April 22nd, but it could take weeks or even months to actually resolve.
Just hours ago, the Teamsters reached a tentative agreement with Anheuser-Busch, narrowly averting a Friday strike among thousands of workers. The tentative agreement includes pay raises of $8 an hour, and it also includes a $2,500 ratification bonus for each member, increased pension, vacation, and improved retirement benefits. The deal will affect 5,000 Teamsters at breweries nationwide. AB released a statement stating in part, "We are pleased to have reached a tentative bargaining agreement with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters that continues to recognize and reward the talent, commitment, and hard work of our employees while also positioning the company for long-term success," end quote. The union is expected to vote on the contract next week.
Pet owners beware. There is a new scam targeting St. Louis families who've lost their pets.
Scammers claim your pet is hurt, demanding money for surgery. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barcheski sat down with the family who doesn't want this to happen to anyone else.
Gina Farrell and her wife say their cat Riley has been missing since the end of January. Weeks later, they got an unexpected phone call from someone saying Riley had been found, and he claimed
the cat had been brought into Care STL, that a Good Samaritan had found her on Jameson Avenue, and that she'd been hit by a car, and she needed emergency surgery to repair her shoulder blade that was causing paralysis, and that we needed to make a deposit immediately via Apple Pay.
In a matter of minutes, they sent him $540. After a few hours and an email exchange with the man who called himself Jack Richardson, they went up to CARE STL only to find out it was a scam and the shelter didn't have their cat.
Who would think that someone could be so evil to prey on people in a vulnerable moment like that?
CARE STL Executive Director Abby Atterbury says the entire situation is upsetting.
We do not want people out there impersonating CARE and acting like we would do these things that are not best practice and would not be how we would handle a situation at all.
Atterbury says she wants others to know they'll never ask for any payments over the phone or through email.
We would never require someone to send money without coming to the shelter, identifying that it is their pet, and then we would have a conversation about any potential expenses that needed to be paid.
But even after all of this, Farrell says their focus hasn't changed.
I just want my family reunited. I want my cat back home safe.
If you ever receive a call like this, make sure you reach out to the organization the person says they're calling from, whether that's the shelter, the rescue, or even a veterinary hospital. In this case, it's icarestl.org. And scroll to the bottom, you'll find their email and phone number where you can verify with them directly. Reporting in St. Louis, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
And the family says they are in the process of filing a police report and have found a person using the same name has done this in other states. If you receive a call like this, notify police right away.
Tonight, St. Louis County Bomb and Arson is investigating what caused an explosion and fire at a Valley Park business. Fire started overnight at Elite Properties and Landscaping on Marshall Road. 60 firefighters in 12 different departments spent hours putting it out. We're told no one was hurt. The building has been condemned. Tonight, firefighters have contained a brush fire in Iron County. The fire on Pilot Knob Mountain has burned more than 400 acres, and more than 30 agencies battled the blaze. Officials believe it was started accidentally. No injuries have been reported.
The tax man cometh. Filing your return can be stressful and complicated. Tonight, how to avoid the little mistakes that can cost you big. Taking a leap. February 29th only happens every 4 years. Tonight, we verify the reason behind the calendar anomaly.
After 2 days in the 80s, cold air is back, but it won't last long. Also, when you'll need your umbrella again.